we were trying to, again, defend the three-point line, and we've got to know guys to run off lines, guys with long closeouts, or that we need to get better there. And rebounding, we definitely have to improve our rebounding game. The effort, I thought the effort was good. I think there's no doubt about that, but it's just some of the technical stuff that we've got to improve with.
Coach, it looked like you guys did a little bit more with the full court press. Did you like that area, and you're going to try to do more of that?
Well, we've always, last year we picked up in the backcourt. We did that. We did trap a few times and do some of that, and that's some things that we've worked on in the off season. So that we have done, and so again, how quickly we can move into that will be how quickly we can get some of the things that we need to improve on in the half court straightened out.
Expect Lamonte and Jalen to play?
I don't know. I think Jalen will probably be for sure. I think he'll be ready. They'll practice today. They haven't done anything since then. We haven't really practiced yet since the game the other night, and so we'll know more after today.
What stands out about the Raging Cajuns?
Well, I've known Bob Marlin for a long time. Great basketball coach, great person, and his teams are so well coached on the offensive end. And, he's won a lot of basketball games, and they are aggressive. Their defense, they do a number of different things out of it. The way they might play the post, might not. The way they pressure, he can mix defenses, and but again, they're an extremely well-coached team, as well-coached teams will play all year.
Gordy touched on it there, but where does this team need to improve the most?
Well, I think everything. I don't think there's one area that I would pinpoint and say we've got to improve the most here. But if you look at it, I mean, even though we came back and out-rebounded Lenore Ryan the other night, we haven't done a very good job of that consistently with all of our scrimmages and exhibition games. We haven't done that, so we've got to definitely improve our rebounding and just the details. Get back to really in all areas be more conscious of the details and then sustain the effort for longer periods of time.
You talked a lot last year about John Fulkerson needing to get back to the player he was. Was last game kind of getting close to that place?
I thought the glimpse that, and again, I thought John was really good. I thought he came out and brought the kind of energy that we'd like to see from him, and he really has the ability to score. And what we've asked him to do is to be the guy that we know he can be. He can rebound the ball, he can block shots, he can really affect the game on the defensive end if he wants to, and he can run. And his style will not be probably as physical as, say, Grant or Admiral, but he can still fight for his position. But the other night I thought was a really good first step for him getting back to where we know and what he can be and who he is.
What kind of things have you guys said to him over the past year to kind of keep him chugging along in that direction?
That we need him. That we need him to. He's a big part of this team. All of our rotational guys are. They're a big part of what we need him to do, and we know that when someone goes down, we've got to have guys ready to step in and not just hold the line, but take it to another level. And he's really capable of doing that.
Before he said, just a few days ago that y'all as a staff always had faith in him back in the recruiting process and even through the injuries. And how tough is it to coach a player hard, but also to kind of keep that player knowing that you do believe in him, that you do think he's got a future?
Well, I do think I don't think we've ever wavered in our doubt of him as a player. What we've told him is that we want more, and a lot of that has to do with concentration. It has to do with I'm not talking games. I think it all starts in practice, where you come in every day, and we don't want him to concede the fact that he's not going to play. We want him to go at it because again, our rotational guys, we look at them as starters because we know we've been doing this long enough that fouls can occur, injuries can occur. We want them all to have that type of mentality, and we don't want them to defer. We want them to compete and know that how valuable they are. And that's what we've tried to explain to all these guys. Every one of them, to the last man, is very valuable. And then it's up to us to continue to remind them of that, but it's up to them to go about it like if they were a starter. How do those guys have to prepare? And we expect everyone to prepare that way.
Coach, with so many veterans who have played for you for so long, how much more multiple can you be on defense than you have been? And are you the point where you can, change gears during a game if you need to?
Do I think we should be able to do some of that? Absolutely. But like I said earlier, we have some of those things, and there's a lot of things that we haven't shown that we can show, but we also know that the core package has got to be solid before we can just start drifting down the road and get away from what we ultimately think wins basketball games. And so it goes back to, again, us shoring up these details in the half court, and then hopefully we can continue to add some of the things that we have in where we can really put more time into them.
Was the other night kind of what Kyle did the other night? Was that what you thought you could get out of him 4 years ago when you took him on?
Yeah, and more. Yeah, Kyle's worked. He has, and he's improved. But obviously, physically, I think every one of our guys has improved physically. But and I think there's more in there for Kyle. I do. I've said before, he's not even scratched the surface of what he can be, and I hope to see it this year. That he leaves here with the kind of player. But yeah, there's no doubt 4 years ago when he came in, put into a situation where he had to play, has helped him. But now he's a senior with 30-some games to go, and it's time for him to be consistent and really, again, expect a lot more from himself.
Was it hard to convince him how high you thought the ceiling was for him?
I think sometimes when we talk about it, he probably, in his mind, probably doesn't see it the way that we see it for him, and because he's only been playing competitive basketball a little bit over 7 years, and for him to all at once people start talking about him at playing at high levels and being consistent, playing in arguably one of the best basketball leagues in the country, and yeah, I think it can be hard for players to see themselves in a different role than being a third, fourth, fifth option. And but what we want him to do is to be the biggest option. We consider him the anchor of our defense. We need him to have a presence on that night in and night out. We need him to rebound. And I will say this, a year ago, and you guys know, when we were at our best, he was playing great. And so we need him to do that more often and every night, really.
How's DJ Burns with his conditioning, weight loss, and how soon might we see him?
I don't know. We right now, our thoughts are that we're going to get him in the kind of shape he needs to be in. And DJ's worked really hard. I tell you what, he's changed his body a lot, but I can't imagine there's anybody in college basketball younger, and we know this. He has a great future ahead of him, and we're not going to use him until we know that he's really ready to be the player that he wants to be and be able to perform at this level the way he wants to perform.
Rick, obviously the level of competition will go up, as the next few weeks and months, but the way y'all protected the rim in that first game, I think 11 block shots or so, is that something that somewhere near there y'all can do on a consistent basis, and what does that do to, I guess, to an opposing team when you can affect the rim like that?
Well, I think our competition is going up Friday night. I think it's going to be Lafayette. Again, they've got guys that have transferred in from high major schools, and physically they're a very capable team to play with anybody in the country. And well, we have Kyle. We've got Eve Pons blocked shots the other night. He's capable of doing that against anybody, and obviously Kyle has shown he can do that. Grant, we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to protect the rim. But the biggest thing is we're allowing too many guys to get to the rim, and that's what we've got to really get fixed first. And but our help defense has got better last game, but we still have to learn to make even more plays off that help sideline, and hopefully we'll do that. A couple more.
How big are these early season games for figuring out who your key rotational guys are going to be?
They're all big. Every game's big. I mean, I've said it to you guys before, and if you don't think the game is big the other night, tonight, come March, you'll realize how big it is. And our rotational guys know that, again, they have to continue to get better. Everybody does, coaching staff, players, everybody. And going through these games, I've never been so much about trying to figure out rotations, because throughout the year, roles can change, and if you earn your way into playing a different role, that means it could change the rotation. So again, our deal is about, can we get better? Can we find a way to get better? And each guy can get better, and the better they get individually, the better our team becomes.
The other night, guys seem to really be enjoying effort plays, diving on the floor, deflections, things like that you guys really emphasize. Does that show the sort of the progress that now that's something they like to do and buy in?
Well, this is a new team, and this team has to establish an identity as well as every team in the country right now. I think every team right now, this time of year, is looking to establish an identity for themselves, and I don't care who it is, I don't care what level they're playing at, coaching at, whatever. You're trying to establish that with your team, and because some teams a year ago, and we're a different team. I mean, we're a totally different team than we were a year ago. And so some of the things that we did last year, well, we haven't done that. The other night was a big step in that because we did that a lot last year. And a couple of our scrimmages and the exhibition game, we didn't play and do those things. And but that was a big part of what helped us a year ago.
After rewatching these first two games, what have been your thoughts on Jordan Down running the point?
Well, he's been doing it for us. We've watched him now all summer, and the more he does it, he's confident. He's very comfortable doing it, and he's a very versatile player. And so, as a coaching staff, we do feel comfortable with him out there running the point.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.